Assalamu alaikum. When we say that Quran is perfectly preserved, we mean that no human altered it, unlike the Bible, which was changed and edited thousands of times by men. So to make my point clear, if I, for example, wrote a book, then I took out 2 chapters from my own book, does this mean that these 2 chapters were lost and that my book is not preserved? The answer is no, because this is my own book. I can do whatever I want with it. Same goes in this case. Allah is the one who revealed the Quran, and He do whatever He wants with His own Quran. No human altered or changed the Quran, unlike the Bible, which was edited and revised thousands of times by men. Now let's turn the tables on David Wood and see if he can answer the following challenges. There are quotes, letters, and entire books mentioned in the Bible, and these quotes, letters, and books were lost. For example, in John 7:38, Jesus supposedly says, "Whoever believes in me, as the scripture has said, rivers of living water will flow from within them." Now I challenge any Christian to show me anywhere in the Bible which says rivers of living water will flow from within them. It is nowhere to be found in the Bible. So it is either this verse is a lie or that this verse was lost. In Colossians 4:16, Paul says, "After this letter has been read to you, see that it is also read in the church of the Laodiceans, and that you in turn read the letter from Laodicea." Here Paul is saying to the people of Laodicea to read the letter from Laodicea. So where is this letter? This letter should be part of the Bible. The answer is that this letter was lost. It is nowhere in the Bible or anywhere else. In 1 Corinthians 5:9, Paul says, "I wrote to you in my letter not to associate with sexually immoral people." So here Paul is saying to the Corinthians in a previous letter not to associate with sexually immoral people. Now where is this letter in which Paul says not to associate with sexually immoral people? The answer is that this letter was lost. It is nowhere in the Bible. Now the following is an example of entire books which were lost from the Bible. In Joshua 10:13, "And the sun stood still, and the moon stayed, until the people have avenged themselves upon their enemies. Is not this written in the book of Jasher?" Now the question is, where is the book of Jasher? It is nowhere to be found. In 1 Kings 14:19, the other events of Jeroboam's reign, his wars, and how he ruled are written in the book of the annals of the kings of Israel. So here the author of 1 Kings is telling us to go read the book of the annals of the kings of Israel. So where is the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? Why it is not in the Bible? The answer is that this book is lost and we can nowhere find it in a Christian website called God Questions. What is the book of the annals of the kings of Israel? The official documents referred to as the Book of the Annals of the Kings of Israel are no longer extant or yet to be discovered. This means that this book was lost. And they also say the non-canonical annals were not preserved with the Old Testament scriptures. So this book was not preserved and got lost. An entire book from the Bible got lost, and David Wood is complaining about Quran while he have entire books which were lost. Also in 2 Chronicles 16:11, the events of Ahijah's reign from beginning to end are written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. So here the biblical author is telling us to go read the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. So the question is, where is this book and why it is not part of the Bible? The answer, it was lost. In 2 Chronicles 12:15, the rest of the events of Rehoboam's reign from beginning to end are recorded in the record of Shemaiah the prophet and the record of Edo the seer, which are part of the genealogical record. So here the biblical author is telling us to go read a prophetical book called the record of Shemaiah the prophet. Now where is this book written by Shemaiah the prophet and why it is not in the Bible? The answer is that this entire book was lost. There are entire books from the Bible which were lost, and David Wood is complaining about Quran. In 2 Chronicles 26:22, the other events of Uzziah's reign from beginning to end are recorded by the prophet Isaiah. So where is that book written by Isaiah regarding events of Uzziah's reign? The answer is that this book should be in the Bible. In 2 Chronicles 32:32, the other events of Hezekiah's reign and his acts of devotion are written in the vision of the prophet Isaiah in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. So here the author is telling us to go read the vision of the prophet Isaiah in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel. Now where is the vision of prophet Isaiah? It is nowhere to be found. The answer is that it was lost. In 2 Chronicles 9:29, the rest of the events of Solomon's reign from beginning to end are recorded in the record of Nathan the prophet and the prophecy of Ahijah from Shiloh, and also in the visions of Iddo the seer. Now here the author mentioned 3 books, not 1 book, 3 books. Record of Nathan the prophet and the prophecy of Ahijah from Shiloh and the visions of Iddo the seer. Now, where are these 3 books? Answer, they were all lost, and the list of the lost books goes on. There are at least 30 lost books from the Bible. So David Wood, before you complain about Quran, go first find these lost books and letters from the Bible before complaining about Islam.
Did Jesus say, "Let the one who is without sin be the first to cast a stone at her"? It's a wonderful and familiar saying of Jesus, but it's based on a scribal variation that is an error. It was not originally in the New Testament Gospels, as Craig has just told us. Did Jesus say, "Neither do I condemn you, go and sin no more"? Well, does it matter whether Jesus said it or not? Turns out it's only in a textual variant. It was not in the original New Testament. Did Jesus say, "Go into all the world and preach the gospel to the whole creation. He who believes in me and is baptized will be saved, but he who does not will be condemned"? It's found only in a textual variant. These are the signs that will accompany those who believe. In my name they will cast out demons. They will speak in new tongues. They will pick up serpents. And if they drink any deadly thing, it will not hurt them. They will lay their hands on the sick and they will recover. Does it matter if Jesus said it? It certainly matters to the Christian groups in the Appalachian Mountains who practice snake handling as part of their worship services. Did Jesus give the entire Lord's Prayer or just half of it, as in Luke? Does it matter? It depends on which manuscript you read. Or do other textual variants matter? Does it matter whether the doctrine of the Trinity is explicitly taught in the New Testament? The only verse that comes close to teaching it directly is 1 John chapter 5, verses 7 and 8. There are 3 that bear witness in heaven, the Father, the Word, and the Spirit, and these 3 are one. Does it matter if that's in the New Testament? Does it matter whether the Gospel of John ever calls Jesus the unique God or not? It's based on a textual variant. Does it matter whether the Gospel of Luke teaches a doctrine of atonement or not? The view that Jesus died for the sake of others. It depends on a textual variant. Does it matter if Jesus was in such agony before his arrest that he sweat blood? It's found in only a single textual variant of the Gospel of Luke. Does it matter that entire words, lines, paragraphs, and pages were left out by some scribes? Does it matter that there are numerous places in the New Testament where scholars cannot decide what the original text said? Does it matter that there are some places where we will never know what the original author said? Does that matter or not? Many evangelical scholars claim that it doesn't matter. But I don't believe them, because these scholars devote their lives to studying the Greek manuscripts. Why would they do that if it doesn't matter? Major evangelical seminaries raise hundreds of thousands of dollars for manuscript projects to study these manuscripts. Why would they do that if it doesn't matter? It does matter. Is the Bible a trustworthy, reliable guide? If so, what if we don't know what it originally said? For some people, these facts don't matter.
I mean, it's absolutely the case that copies of the Quran, manuscripts of the Quran that we have today, they're not like the manuscripts of the New Testament, which have all these errors everywhere. I mean, the Quran manuscripts don't.
Obviously, the Quran has been faithfully copied for many, many centuries. So that part is absolutely right. The 3 major monotheistic religions in the world are Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And what is interesting is that the New Testament, the manuscripts of the New Testament, are filled with scribal changes. And the reality is that doesn't happen with the surviving manuscripts of either the Hebrew Bible or the Quran. And so you think, well, why is that? Wouldn't that show that one of those is more valid? And my view is, no, it doesn't show they're more valid. It shows that their scribes were more careful.
The Gospels are full of discrepancies, they're full of contradictions, they're full of false historical information. They may be valuable to you as a Christian believer, but historians have to pick and choose. The reason they have to pick and choose is because there's so much historically false information in the Gospels. But Jesus is never mentioned in any Greek or Roman non-Christian source until 80 years after his death.